Wow, my mouth just cannot work today. My brain is going so much faster than my mouse. Our support options is what I was about to say, but that came out support, you know?
What the is that?
Okay, so we are going to be up against Sejuani Gangplank. I imagine this is Plunder City. We're going to keep our young witch and the Zed here, and we get the inspiring mentor. All right, this is an acceptable start, I suppose. I think the real question is, which one do we want to buff? I think it's going to be the Zed, just because she's very vulnerable to make it rain in this matchup. But we're going to go ahead and get in. So this is interesting. This means we can't really stop Plunder if they take the open attack this next turn, which is, you know, a wee bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. There it is. I mean, we couldn't have stopped it even without the open attack because of the fearsome. I think this unit's a bit underrated as a one drop. Obviously, the low attack power means it's not great, but when I think of old decks that used to want to run things like Teemo, for example, that's right up there. We're going to drop the Zed again. Make It Rain kind of punishes us here, but not really anywhere else. Now, if they have double Make It Rain, I mean, if they have double Make It Rain, they have double Make It Rain. Nothing we can really do about it, you know? But instead, they're going to be going with the warning shot into the hired gun. And we could do this. The only problem is this still ends up being a free trade here, so I think instead we're just going to go this route. This is still a lot of threatening.
Make it worth my while.
And then this next turn we're likely going to go with the mentor. Maybe on this life blade, but we're gonna have to save at least 3 for the discipline because we absolutely expect them to try to eat our Zed. Now we do pick up a bastion here, which is kind of nice as well. All right, there's at least one Make It Rain gone.
My training is unconventional.
I don't know how I feel about the mentors quite yet, but it is something that I've been experimenting with. I kind of want to stop this just to prevent potential further plunder shenanigans. All right, so we're gonna go this route. All right, so we could be greedy and play Lifeblade or Assassin pre-attack, but they've got a lot of mana. I think we just do this to chew through some of these bodies.
Say your farewells.
Who knew Zed means board control? It's actually kind of tipping to us that they keep taking the 1-drops. We'll go this route because that means we can still play both of these next turn with the 1 bank spell mana. It's kind of tipping their hand because they consider taking a keg if they had a Make It Rain available, right? You would take the keg pretty much every time there. All right, so Sedge is not gonna give us the opportunity to save this Zed.
Order.
This already had the vulnerability though, so other than the fact they wanted to frostbite it, I feel like maybe trying to also true through this unit this turn would have been more in their favor. I can't stop the plunder because of the overwhelm here, so I'm not sure I want to block this. I mean, this does save me 3 damage. We're gonna keep this alive just because this is gonna end up being our play this next turn. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go into hatchling attack this next turn here. This gives us a fair amount of elusive pressure, even more so once we factor in Mentor of the Stones. We don't have the mana for the Bastion to back things up, but the rest of our board is actually pretty frightening. And as long as this survives into the attack, giving this the permanent buff is pretty relevant as well. And that's also why I did not swing with this. Or excuse me, I'm going to swing with it. I did not block with that last turn. Sometimes my words don't match my brain. It makes sense up here, and then by the time it makes it here, you don't know what's going on. Sometimes my mouse and my brain, they just don't work, and then you find yourself doing that Draven quote.
Please don't hurt them.
I think we're fine with this overall. I mean, we won't be able to keep this alive if they can find a way to attack into it again, but again, the vulnerability thing I think was a bit of a misstep. That previous turn by them.
Who's on top of the bounty board today?
Of course I say that and they turn around and do that to me. All right, so the +2/+2 is going to go away this round, which takes it back down to 5. So if we do this now, because again, we can't do this in response to anything, this means that it will trade with Sejuani next turn, if that's the route they want to take. Because this should end up being a 6/4 at that point. And so that's ultimately what we're just trying to do, is just punish them, saying like, yes, you have to get rid of that, but we're going to make it an awful play for you.
This isn't part of the training.
Can't stop Plunder again because of the overwhelm here anyway. So I think we do this, and then the rest of our turn is legitimately just going to be setting up for a massive open attack this next turn with all the elusive units we have. So we're gonna try this. I thought I had that Draven quote on my sampler, but it's not working at the moment, and I don't understand why.
I refuse. Carrots can fly,
I probably just have to restart my sampler app.
There'll be blood in the water.
So I'm trying to figure out which of these we can potentially save. This is a really good Riptide Rex for them. So that's on the Witch. Both on the Wayfarer. So the witch only has one targeting it. And so we'll stop it from killing the witch. It's a shame that it lined up that way. Obviously, we want that Wayfarer. So now it's just going to come down to...
Hang on, Fuzzball.
Hey,
praying that... Right, so right now this represents 4, 5, 6. So unfortunately, we have to play one of these. So we have to hope they don't have a way to like trigger Plunder and play a second Riptide here. That would be awful. We're gonna go with Lulu. Because Lulu at least survives a Make It Rain. Potentially. That's a good counterplay from them.
Hey, Krabby.
that's my resting face.
Okay, so we want Young Witch buffing this one and Lulu buffing this one, but we also want to do these before we swing, and we want to spread this out, I think. So again, Young Witch buffing this one, Lulu buffing this one, swing.
Where you going, Pix?
So Lulu's gonna make the one into a 5/5. I love this animation, by the way. And then we're gonna have a bunch of elusive. So this is the Lulusive outcome we were looking for, and that's gonna be a game victory. So game 1 in the books. Let's go play a second game, and then, as always, I'll talk about the deck at the end of the video. Game 2 here is looking to be a doozy for a couple of reasons. One, it's Aurelion Sol. So immediately before I clicked on this, or before I, paid attention during the loading, I thought, okay, we have to play around Avalanche. This is going to potentially be a bit rough, blah, blah, blah. There's all those things that you start factoring in. But then I realized it's with Demacia. This is an Aurelion Sol Demacia list, and I have no idea what to expect. We're going to keep Flower Child, though. This is great in the opening hand. We're just trying to find something to support it. Maybe we top deck a Witch. If not, we have Mentor long term, but I don't know what to expect here.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
We're also playing part of the Daybreak package, so potentially a wee bit painful here.
Hey, Krabby.
That's my resting face.
Potentially a wee bit painful. Wow, they're gonna go with another Daybreak. Well, we'll poke with the elusive here, but we're gonna fall a bit behind on board in terms of raw presence, so we're gonna have to make up for that by our elusive race here. We actually could block one of these with our elusive unit. We really wanted to, but I think we're gonna let this through. Play Lulu, and then look next turn, even though we won't have the twin disciplines to protect our units, to potentially also go Mentor. And then our support. Wow, my mouth just cannot work today. My brain is going so much faster than my mouth. Our support options is what I was about to say, but that came out support,
What the is that?
Oh, I also got the sampler working, by the way. Our support options become so interesting. Now, you could also argue Zed's a good play here, but we want to keep Lulu alive. Well, we don't get to. I was going to say we want to keep Lulu alive, in which case supporting her actually would have made sense. But now this is easy choice. We also wanted to push as much elusive damage as we could. There's just a lot of things we wanted to do here, but we're going to go this route.
The guilty were banned.
So this is a Demacia Targan Daybreak Aurelion Sol deck that's also running Concerted Strike. As I said before, I just don't know what to expect. Another Zed here. Okay, okay. I think at this point it's okay to start using this for defense. Because we're just trying to stem the tide here.
Silent as death.
All right, Bastion's a pretty solid pickup for us here. Oh, they jebaited us. Okay, well, then
The Yordle here's with me.
we're just gonna aim for an elusive victory. So we're gonna have 5. We just have to hope they don't have any sort of fast speed combat tricks. We are so close on mana because we need to play this and 2 of these to get there, and that means that we can't also have this Bastion to protect us. You know what? I actually messed this up. I think we might have wanted to not have played for the open attack here. If I slow play this, I let them take 1 extra play. But we could have played Inspiring Mentor to trigger both of these. That would have been, this would have been the 1 mana +2 we were looking for, but it does mean that we don't get the open attack. But I think it would have been worth it because we're not really worried about them playing additional blockers. Again, we're worried about this, right? 100%. So they do in fact have the instant speed answer. So we're clearly not very happy about that. So this is a misplay by me. So they're gonna choose to heal that, which makes a lot of sense.
Bring me tea to gain the strength of rivers.
I kind of almost want to put a gem on this because we're gonna have to block that angel one way or the other, and I'd like to attempt to block to kill it just to get it out of my way at this point. So if I don't do it now, I get hosed by the open attack. And I already made 1 pretty hard punt. I'd prefer to not do it a second time here. This turn is likely Flower Child, Zed, and bank mana for the Bastion. The longer this game goes, I think it's going to favor the opponent more, obviously, because they're running Aurelion Sol. And who knows what else in the top end? Maybe Judgment? Maybe that's what they're looking for? Ooh, all right. That's a big boy.
I walk your path.
Oh, they're leaving the Radiance behind. So we have a call to make here because we could swing with everything and then whatever is going to be blocked by the Radiant, like, so be it. We have to hope we push enough through otherwise. However, that sets us up for a Judgment auto loss. So I think we're actually gonna not take this open attack here and see if we can get them to spend some mana. And they don't. So again, that kind of just reeks of judgment. Which means we should, in theory, only be attacking with our elusive units here, but then we have to survive a whole nother round. I'm not sure that we can actually win this. So the other problem that we run into is that judgment, for some reason, Bastion works here, but doesn't work against judgment. They've got more healing anyway. I mean, really, we're just worried about this. Killing us. That last turn could have been a really good turn for us. Oh, they just... All right. Have all the healing. Turns out. We don't have an answer for a second one. So what we really needed to find was Fey Guide. We could have used Fey Guide like on this that last turn. I think we would have had a shot. Maybe we also should have attacked and they perhaps don't have the judgment. Maybe they were just sitting on all that mana for all that healing, but I really feel like judgment is the play. But we are not in a great spot.
Strike for justice.
Careful. He's new. Sorry.
With this, I can get... I think we're exactly dead. With this, I can soak all the way up to 1 off of this, and then because this one is an exact copy, but it gets the +1, this still does the 3. Right, this puts us at exactly 0. All right, well, this is gonna end up being a loss, but I'm not sure there was much we could have done here. I think still playing around judgment's likely correct, but this is not a traditional list, so we're gonna go and look at my list, and I'll kind of talk through the choices here. So again, hard telling because they had a lot of burst speed healing in their hand, and we don't know whether or not they truly had the judgment that I think I was probably properly trying to play around, but you don't know. But we did make the one play mistake. As I said before, the turn that I was trying to push for lethal, I probably should have not went so hard on the open attack. I could have left enough mana back to at least save the 1 unit, which would have represented a lot more damage. Probably not lethal. Again, so much burst healing that deck had, but would have been a better option. We're gonna take a look at the list. Right now, I'm running Flower Child because this is a support deck. We're running Lulu, we're running Young Witch, we're running Mentor, and we're running the Sojourners. So Flower Child's a great 1-drop. We saw them earlier in the video. I'm running 2 Inspiring Mentor. The big reason that I was running this is just because I wanted to try to give myself the opportunity to have more 1-drops so that if I do play Young Witch on 2, it's not completely wasted. Like, this still likely swings for 1 because of the elusive, but even taking something like Inspiring Mentor from 1 attack to 2 attack with quick attack is sometimes enough for this to be threatening on turn 2. I think Young Witch makes this a little more viable, but also I'm running it because I'm running Shadestalker in this list, and because I'm running Shadestalker, I wanted a bunch of cheap potential Nightfall triggers. So being able to play Mentor and then trigger Shadestalker and turning this into a 3/3 elusive, it's a pretty good punch. So again, don't know if this is going to stay, but it's something I'm testing. Duo elusive, Shade elusive, Young Witch elusive, and support. So all of the 2-drops pretty straightforward, self-explanatory, because this is an elusive deck, but I wanted to play around with the idea of making the elusives better and stronger through the new support units. Currently just the 1 Bastion. This is one of the 2 cards that I really want to put more copies of in the list, and if I was going to be cutting these mentors, it would probably be to be upping Bastion and then Fey Guide, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But Lulu is mostly here to make these elusive units big 4/4s or later big 5/5s. Mentor, support your elusive units, get yourself those gems, and then in turn, because of the gems, you get to push more damage. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think Shadow Assassin's still good enough to run in a list like this even after the nerf. Obviously, it's not nearly as strong, but because we have so many things that buff elusive units, it replaces itself. It's a perfect, potential target for your gems, etc. I think it's worth running. 3 Twin Disciplines. This is just because it's so flexible. You can use it to save your elusive units. You can use it to try to go for lethal. It's been kind of a staple in these decks for a long time. Zed. So Zed is here again because of the support units. Zed by himself has always been rather threatening, but the moment that you start using Mentor or Sojourn or even just Lulu, Zed becomes really annoying, and he becomes even more annoying if you manage to hit him with a Fey Guide. When you get this on Zed, if you're attacking on evens and your turns are like, okay in the early, but you go Zed into Fey Guide, your opponent's having a bad time. So this is a card I would like to increase to a 2 of. The only reason I didn't go heavy with this initial build is so many of your other units already have elusive, but beyond just Zed, giving Lulu elusive, making her Lulusive, is outstanding. Same thing can be said about Mountain Sojourners, being able, if it's late game and you have a Fey Guide, to make this really hard to kill while granting this massive +2/+2, or in some cases +4/+4, and so on and so forth down the chain. This card becomes nutty. So I would like to up this as well, but again, I kind of don't know what to pull out. I think that building, as far as the core of this goes, the list is pretty tight. One card you could cut, I suppose, would be Hatchling, just because Sojourners is filling a similar role, but this is supposed to be kind of your big finisher. So I don't know. Right now, like I said, this is something I'm trying. So far, I've actually been relatively happy with its performance for trying to increase my 1-drops and give me a Nightfall trigger. But if you're looking for cuts or potential changes, getting this to 2 and getting this to 2, I think are up there in terms of priority. And this is the list. That code will be in the video description like always. Probably one more support deck video coming next, because I want to share my Fioratron list, and then after that we'll get into some other stuff, maybe Yasuo, I don't know. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you as always. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you are enjoying your holiday weekend if you're in the United States, and if you're not in the United States, well then just have a normal great weekend. But thanks.